Good evening, Wayne. How we doing, mate?
Episode 2, we made it.
Episode 2, we did it. We actually thought we were going to have to hibernate, especially with Lee's game coming up, but we didn't. Welcome to Eyup, the Toffees podcast, episode 2. And a lot's happened since last time. Was it 3 games now? It is indeed. And I can just
to talk about.
Much to talk about, and I can just see Dom has finally made it just in time.
How we doing, boys?
Let's pull him in.
Yeah, good.
Look at that classic shirt. Look at that.
Oh, old school, this one. Before my time, like, but when we had a good side, so.
He's only a babby.
How are we all getting on?
I'm still reeling from last night, if I'm honest.
Oh, that were ridiculous, wasn't it? Like, say, my heart rate monitor were nearly blowing up.
Oh, honestly,
Mad.
one of the best FA Cup ties I've seen us involved in terms of, emotions and stuff like that. Just unbelievable. Can't believe it were like 9 goals.
And do you know the funny thing is, a Marco Silva Everton wouldn't have been able to do that. No chance.
No,
Well, you go 1-0 down in a couple of minutes and that's it, isn't it? I was thinking, oh God, this is it. It's going to be one of them nights, but it turned out completely opposite.
Yeah, well, especially with Tottenham as well, because you look at how they set up, and they don't concede that many goals. I think they're second for goals conceded in the league. So they've obviously, under Mourinho, they're always going to sit back. And I thought when we went 1-0 down, we've had it here. But we turned it around so quick. It was fantastic. Like, the belief in the group. Like, Ancelotti must be some kind of motivational speaker in the changing rooms, because that kind of level of self-belief's just gone through the roof, hasn't it, under Ancelotti? It's mad.
Yeah, bear in mind that they're both successful Chelsea managers and they both won Premier League titles and trophies with them, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yes. Cracking game. Awesome game to watch. And for neutral as well, I guess it were pretty amazing to watch. But for us as Evertonians, I don't know. It started off badly, then it went amazing, then it was like, oh God. And literally like a roller coaster of emotions the entire way through that game. I was honestly still reeling from it. I thought, woke up happy this morning.
Yeah, and you have to give a little bit of credit to Spurs, don't you? Because they didn't roll over after 3-1, and I thought they would. Most other teams probably would have, but they kept digging in and fighting. But most of their goals came from set pieces, which we were awful at. So really, technically, we could have won 5-0, couldn't we?
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what. Their fourth goal, where Son put that ball in for Kane. I don't know how you defend that, because the ball was that good, and Kane, his instinct to get to where he got to that back post. You can't. Sometimes you just got to put your hands up and think, just world class.
Very Tim Cahill-esque, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember saying actually, messaging in group chat that we have and thinking, oh crap, I hope we don't sit back too much because Kane's on, and you just can't do that when he's on. He just manages to pop up in the most inconvenient place when you're trying to defend, and it's just, oh God, honestly. Strangest game ever.
But if you are talking substitutes, we've got our very own, haven't we, Mr. Bernard?
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
And I'm glad he stayed.
Oh, too right. Well, we said yesterday when we needed an Amakachi out, someone had to be the new Amakachi, and it looks like Bernard's a man.
He is. He is. Leeds had Carl Shutt. United had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We've got Bernard.
Yeah.
He's Brazilian, it's all right. And he's tiny.
That he took that ball down so well, though, didn't he? A right finish.
Oh, cracking finish. Unbelievable. In fact, there were a few damn good finishes as well. Look at Richie's and, DCL's. Three.
I'm going to say not just
goals.
the finish, though, Tris. The assist to that when Sigurdsson chipped it, the vision. You can see Sigurdsson knew what was going to happen before he actually executed it.
I'll tell you what were impressive what Sigurdsson did. Because he made a run and Coleman didn't play him through. And instead of sulking, thinking, I ran the channel there, where's the ball? He made sure he got back on side, got the ball, and then put it through. And it's like, just top effort, that with quality. You could tell how much they wanted it.
Absolutely.
So what do we think about, obviously, the draw has just taken place, and we've got Man City at home, possibly the worst draw, if you're thinking about it statistically and stuff like that we could have expected. But same time, if you want to win a cup, you've got to beat everybody that's in front of you.
Yeah.
So what do we reckon? Happy?
I'd rather play him now. I'd rather play him in quarters than in a final. I just feel like you don't know, if they pick up a few injuries, maybe. If they've got Champions League game coming, is it 20th of March? I'm not sure when their Champions League games are scheduled for. But I just, hopefully if they've got a lot of fixtures going on, then we might catch them on a good day. But like you say, to win it, you've got to beat the big boys, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I think it makes our road a little bit harder to, get down. But if you've got to beat anybody, like you said, Dom, you've got to beat them. So
look at it like this. Look at it like this, though, lads. Historically, Man City don't like playing us, and they don't have a very good record at Goodison.
No.
So,
I mean, also, we've got the game coming up. What is it? A week and a half.
Dress rehearsal.
Away. Yeah, that's exactly it. We'll get a feel for how they're playing and see what we can do. God knows, we might even win and put the fear of God up them. You never know.
You see, the thing is, it all depends how serious they take that cup. And they might put a totally different 11 out that plays in the league, There's a strong possibility of that, isn't there?
I think with Pep, he always goes for cups, and he's one of them managers that he respects every trophy, I think he's a good... Like I say, he's one of them managers that whatever the competition, he'll try to win it. So I think whatever City, we'll get the best City can put out that night. But I just, like I said, they're on such a good run, but that run's got to end sometime, and maybe we might be the side to do it. But as long as the lads go out and give it everything, that's all we can ask, innit? That's all we can ask. But
absolutely,
it's a bit like the Man United game, innit? We were written off before we actually, kicked off, and probably we were thinking, God, I really hope we get a result out of this one, and it were a bit of an uphill climb, but we did, 3-3, it's a draw, it's at Old Trafford as well, against it's a team that's in form, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. Dom actually said in our conversation before that even if we lost, as long as we showed a bit of fight, then we were happy, and I'm with Dom on that, totally.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'd rather always see us get beaten if we actually put, a shift in and we actually try. There's nothing worse than getting beaten when you just don't even turn up and you don't step off a coach or whatever. At least if you've actually tried. I mean, even you look at Spurs last night, they were probably looking at that thinking, oh, this is a bit shit, we've ended up losing, we're out of FA Cup. But they put up a good fight at the same time, it was end to end. It's brilliant.
And I think,
great to watch.
I think as well with us, you look at the players we didn't have available. Alan's still out injured, and Rodriguez. And at one point, when Calvert-Lewin came off, they had. I
had that sinking feeling then.
They had Son on Kane. They had I don't know how to pronounce him. There's a Vinicius or something. The young lad they've got up front who came on. I can't pronounce his name, but at one point...
I can't either.
Yeah, that's all right then. But yeah, they had about three go-to players at one point, and I was like, how are we going to get a goal out of here? And then, so we found a way to win. And certainly in the past few years, we haven't. If anything's gone against us, we've never been able to find a way to win. I feel with this group and under Ancelotti, no matter how up against it we are, I feel like when the lads are on it, they believe they can find a way to get back into any game. We've shown it recently, haven't we? With, like you say, with United and then last night. So if we can keep that momentum going and not throw away silly games like Newcastle performances and stuff, if we can keep building like that, and players will come back, and I think we could be on for a good run, all being well.
Yeah, I'll tell you what as well, Richie really, when he got moved into that sort of centre forward position, he really took that goal so well. He's literally staked his claim for, I want to be up front, and I mean, I would have thought in a ideal situation it would have been King on that. Obviously it's cup tied, so he wouldn't have been able to do it. But had that been in a Premier League game, it probably wouldn't have stuck him up there. But he really did take that goal well. He took his chance.
Been banging on the door for a long time, hasn't he?
Yeah,
it's been banging on the door to go up front and in centre alongside DCL, and I think he's put a good case against that now, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It still didn't smile though. I have this thing about Richarlison not smiling. It's a miserable git, isn't it?
Well, he didn't get subbed, so you were happy.
Well, yeah.
He just smashes a screamer and just stands there like the world's against him, right?
Yeah, but the other thing is as well, if you notice with Ancelotti, Dunk's jumping up and down behind him, and Ancelotti's just sipping his Bovril casually. The fifth goal went in, and he's just drinking his Bovril, isn't he?
That's just elite mentality. That's winning mentality for you. Just
you could see it against Man United as well when Dunk were going absolutely bonkers, and him and Ancelotti's son is literally like they're like going mental, and he's like, "Calm down, boys, calm down, calm down."
Yeah, when that picture that's going around on media at the minute with Dunk and Dunk's face, like he were a kid in a sweet shop, and Ancelotti just got a deadpan face looking at him.
It's class.
It's class, it is.
So just before, obviously, we get into all the banter and stuff like that, and we've started on, pretty much a high. We're all like, quarterfinals, FA Cup. A couple of condolences that we have to give. A little bit of sad news that came out earlier that we feel as a group that we should sort of mention. I'm sure everybody will be aware of this gentleman. If you don't, probably can't remember, you probably weren't even in nappies at that point. But good old Day Davies passed away, sadly, today. 94 appearances for Everton in the time that he played for us after he moved from Swansea. Sadly passed away today due to cancer, unfortunately. So rest in peace and respect to his family, etc. At this difficult time. The Blue family is a little bit smaller today as a result of that. And then, of course, we can't sort of do that without mentioning the other one as well, which is still getting so much sort of social media sort of coverage at the moment, and it's really, really sad. This dude. Rest in peace, Virgil van Dijk. Sadly murdered by Jordan Pickford in a derby game.
With his scissor legs.
Honestly, I can't believe they're still harping on about it.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that lad on TalkSport earlier on in the week? And they were literally crying on TalkSport, saying we've purposely ruined their season, and that we've got a lot to answer for. And it's like, you've got to let it go. Injuries happen. It's like us. Like we've shown no animosity towards Son, for example, after that challenge with Gomez, and you think
I felt sorry for Son.
Yeah,
because they were gutted. The lad were gutted.
Yeah, and it's not as if Pickford had been celebrating injuring somebody. It were a complete freak accident. Both of them, have gone out hard, and obviously you never want to see whatever we think of Liverpool. You never want to see a player get injured. You never want to see a player out. But that being said, I think it's been a huge overreaction by the media as well. Not just the Liverpool fan. I think the media have gone crazy. Like every time Liverpool play, every time they're on TV, I think it's like they've got on repeat, just constant. Every 10 minutes, mention they've got injuries. Mention Thiago nearly got snapped by Richarlison as well. Keep throwing that in. It's like I don't know. It's constantly they talk about us. how we've ruined their season more than they talk about Liverpool nowadays, don't they?
I'll tell you what it is, Dom. I'd rather be bitter than a gobshite. Any day.
You know what it is? It's just that Don Carlo has like enlisted Pickford as his chief assassin for his, Godfather role.
And I see him made him an offer he couldn't refuse, didn't he?
Yeah, he says, I want Van Dijk whacked.
I'd say that. Did anybody actually sort of see the reaction of Roy Keane talking about Liverpool's season? Brilliant. He was. I mean, he's bonkers most of the time, and I can't really stand the guy. But he got it spot on. They are actually the sort of their own. They've orchestrated their own downfall. Really, they don't seem to have that mentality that they want to be league champions again. All they've done is moan. Since Pickford, decked Van Dijk. That's it. That's all they've done.
It's like when Klopp moaned about fixtures, and then he played he played Salah and Mane against a team of 16-year-olds against Villa in Cup, didn't he? And it's like, well, if you're that annoyed with all the fixture list, then why are you throwing, two of your main players out against a group of kids?
Thing is, though, Dom, we're in everybody's in the same boat. Every single club is in the same boat.
Yeah.
No fans, which we have to deal with, but everybody deals with that. Have you noticed as a result, a lot of teams' home form has suffered because of it? Not just ours, lots of them.
Yeah, well, you can't. It's not the same fortress, is it? Especially with us, like Goodison, when it's like you're on top of on top of the players, aren't you? It's can be a cauldron when we get going, and like I said, you can understand why these teams, your Burnley's teams like that. The crowd, Sheffield United, they've suffered big time with their home form. It's teams like that rely on the crowd's impact is massive. But I say I'm surprised with United because they're normally just with Man United. They're normally just tucking into the cucumber sandwiches, aren't they, and things like that. So don't really.
Can you imagine last night's game though with a crowd in at Goodison?
Oh,
under lights.
Under the lights,
totally
definitely.
Different game. Totally different game. Unbelievable. So let's talk about the elephant in the room then, as the result of last night. Good old Dominic Calvert-Lewin going off halfway through second half. Hopefully it's not too bad. But do we think we'll suffer as a result of it? What do we reckon?
Well, has the club actually said anything about his prognosis?
Not as yet, not that I've seen. He went for a scan on his hamstring today. We've not heard anything further than that.
It shows how important that Josh King signing was.
Yep, absolutely. That's the plan B. We need the plan B, didn't we? And we always said that. We said that in episode 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this has sort of highlighted it. We've all said, with Sims going out on loan, Toshin going back to wherever he came from, and all of that kind of stuff.
Come back to wherever he came from.
Well, we've shipped a lot out, haven't we? That's the thing. We've shipped a lot out, and we've left ourselves a little bit short when it comes to strikers, as we always have. We've never really fixed it, have we, properly since Lukaku left? And just having DCL in there, when you see him walk off and limp off, you're thinking, oh God. But like Dom said, it's really important. That Josh King signing, that deadline day signing that we got. A lot of people were sort of like calling it ridiculous, it's stupid, he's shit, and everything else, as Evertonians tend to do these days with their overinflated expectations. But it just shows how they have actually got that signing right. And he's only on a short-term contract as well. He's only on contract to end the season. But
I look at it like this, Tris. We've signed a Norwegian, we might gain some Liverpool fans.
Oh no, please, leave him out.
We might gain a few cop-outs.
It's all right. They'll have to quarantine for 14 days when they come in, so it's all good.
I don't know.
But Calvert-Lewin, he seemed in good spirits after the game. He didn't seem to be limping too much, and after the game,
he seemed to walk out tunnel okay, didn't he? He didn't seem too bad.
So even if it's just, like I said, I'd back us if he has a week off. If he has a weekend off against Fulham, I think it's a good chance for King to go out and get stuck in.
Yeah, I think he played his part as well when he came on against Manchester United. And
he's physical, isn't he? I like his physicality.
That free kick, a lot of it was down to what he did as well. So he played his part, and he's already had an impact, and that's great.
Well, when you're on a short-term contract, he's playing for his future, isn't he? So he's got to play well. He's got to put either to get a contract with us or put himself put himself in the shop window elsewhere. He's got to play well, so it benefits us and it benefits him. So everyone's a winner if he's putting a shift in.
Definitely. And I think I think Wayne, you wanted to talk about this pretty much, but a lot of the team, we seem to have stepped up a lot in recent weeks.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
What do we think of the players that have sort of made that impact? Who's sort of stepped up, who's not pulling the weight at the moment, who's doing well?
Well, the thing I noticed last night was a change in fitness. Tom Davies looked on top of his fitness, and so did Decore. They looked like they were fresh legs all night, even
Tom
in
Davies
extra time.
had a great game last night. Absolutely. In fact, the last 3 games he's played really well. And
I think it's a change of mentality.
Yeah, he seems to be sort of realising that potential that we thought he could have, but just never quite reached. And the last 3 games just seems to have really sort of lifted up. He seems to have improved massively.
Yeah, his passing, his vision, his running into spaces, lots better, 100% better.
He made a couple of crucial tackles last night as well.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Yeah, I think on last night, I thought Decore was the amount of running he did, box to box at the speed he did constantly. He's an unbelievable athlete.
Yeah, he's doing the job that we wanted Gomez to do, isn't he? And he's executing a lot better.
He's fitness wise, he's an absolute freak, and he's
a beast.
He's a beast.
Oh, he's a machine.
He tracks back, so he tracks back well. He pushes forward well. He brings other players into the game. I'd love to. He's one of them players I really want to see play live, because I don't think you appreciate how much he does off the ball as well, because you don't really always see that on TV. And I think when you see him play live, and you'll see how much running he does and how much he brings other players into the game. He's an absolute freak, and I think he's a deceptively better footballer. Because sometimes, because he's so big, he might look a bit clumsy with his first touch, and that way he's a proper footballer as well as just an absolute fitness freak.
And what do you both think about Ancelotti starting a back 4 with 4 central defenders? I think that's a genius stroke. That.
Yeah, I like it.
And obviously it gives Digne and Coleman a new role in midfield, and it's working.
Yep, seems to be working really well. I can't fault it, that's for sure. He's got the results in the last 3 games, so
yeah, he's shown how good a manager he is. Like the Wolves game springs to mind, where we went there and played. We played with like 2 false nines, didn't we? And we somehow got the result there. And he's been able to make, when he's needed to change the formation, change the tempo of the game. He shows his class as a manager. How he's been able to get results with, at times, limited resources in terms of what we've had available. Because we've had, obviously, there's only Liverpool who gets injuries, but believe it or not, we've had a few as well,
It's like when we went 2-0 down against Man United. The change of tactics changed the game. And it was down to a change of tactics. He whispered in somebody's ear when they were coming on, and that were it. Bang.
The tempo
delivered straight away, yeah.
Because we won't get forward,
if you don't get this score back, you'll end up in a box.
You'll sleep with the fishes.
You don't mess with Ancelotti, do you? You don't mess with the Don.
Don
Gallo.
He sat outside at changing room on a chair and just said, in you go, lads. Horse's head sat there. Message
stroking
delivered.
a cat.
Now, this is... I'd like to meet 2 new members of the club, Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro. They'll be helping out with disciplinary matters.
You wouldn't want to go for a drive, would you, if you haven't played well?
Well, no, his adaptability in his tactics has been absolutely brilliant. I mean, he showed so many different types of formation, so many different tactics. You can't fault him for that.
I'll tell you what, though, Tris. His left eyebrow scares the life out of me. When it goes right up.
He's got that serious look about him, and you could see that happen when Dunk approached him all happy.
Yeah, pipe down.
You doing?
Pipe down, big man.
Pipe down.
He's the only one who dare actually say that, yeah?
Only person ever to tell Dunk to calm down.
I just can't wait till fans are back and Big Dunk's running down sidelines, high-fiving everyone in front row.
Slinging ball boys aside, like.
Waltzing with him.
It's still one of my favourite images, that when he literally just, ball boy just jumped into his arms. I mean, that's a connection with fans, that. And it's great that he's getting to learn that assistant manager role under Ancelotti as well. Because obviously he's learning that tactical, that brilliance that Ancelotti is actually showing. But we know Dunk's got that passion for club as well.
I'm going to be bold and say that I think that when Ancelotti's primed to be at Everton for a few more years yet, I hope he is as well. Yeah. But I think he's priming Dunk to take over as the manager.
Yeah,
I'm bold enough to say I think so.
And do you know what? I'd be happy with that.
I would as well.
Dunk, I know he's not got that much experience. But he knows Everton inside out. That said, I just hope it doesn't go the same way as what happened with Lampard at Chelsea.
That's the thing.
Very quickly
you never
turn
want to
from
see
legend to.
Yeah, but Chelsea is a poison chalice anyway, isn't it? To be fair.
I think they've been spoiled, haven't they? I think with Chelsea fans have been so spoiled recently, but they have. I suppose the way they've turned over managers, it's worked because they've had success. So it's not very sentimental or anything, but it's worked for them results wise, hasn't it? But I'd hate to see Duncan. I think, like I said, the day I remember as a kid when Duncan Ferguson went to Newcastle and I were bawling my eyes out, and I think if he ever left the club in any capacity, if he left the club, if he ever got sacked, because it's going to happen as a manager. The only certainty is one day you're gonna get sacked, aren't you? And,
I think with Dunk though, it'll be one of those like, I'm sorry, mate, we're not going to let you be manager anymore, but you know what, you can be kit boy. no matter what, he's always going to be part of that club, and I think he's kind of an integral part of that since sort of 90s, isn't he? He epitomises Everton. He's got an Everton tattoo and everything. He's just I know a lot of people say, well, he's not a legend. He never really did anything, but he did a lot of good stuff in a team that was very, very average, and he's shown time and time again his passion for Everton. Every time.
He's made pigeon. I'm going to say he's made pigeon fancy and fashionable to the masses.
Let's be honest. Whoever robbed his house really, really did. Can you imagine walking in? Oh shit! It's Dunk. Oh crap! He's got a golf club. Bugger that.
They actually won the Darwin Award for that. They won the Darwin Award for for stupid people. He sat on one of them apparently. I'd love to get him on here and interview him. I really would. But he actually apparently sat on one of them. One obviously got a beating and ran away, and he sat on one until the police arrived. I bet he were relieved. I bet he were relieved when the copper arrived. That person he was sat on.
I wonder why, because obviously in that time while he's waiting for the police to come, there's probably going to be an awkward silence for a bit. Do you reckon lads who were
I reckon he was telling him about 95 Cup final.
Yeah, what were it like to win the FA Cup, mate? Or do you reckon he was what made you choose Everton? Or
and then he found out we were a cop eye and
funny. Yeah, that was funny.
Oh dear. So, what about these last 3 games then? Since we last did our episode 1, so we were obviously a little bit worried about the Leeds game. We all thought we were going to have to hibernate and everything else, but it turned out okay. And then obviously Man United, good result, weren't a win, but good result. I'd have taken that before the game all day long, and then obviously
I would as well.
Yeah.
So it's a good 3 games.
Good response, and we needed that response.
Oh yeah,
we needed that bomb up our asses, didn't we?
Let's be honest, losing to Newcastle in the fashion that we did, that's literally as a player, that must have been shit.
I'd like to think it were a blip now. I really would like to think that the mentality has changed now to the right side, rather than what it were. But because love or hate our performances, and overall there's been lots of drops as well as peaks, haven't they, in the performances? The consistency just hasn't been there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we were all a bit freaked out about that whole sort of Leeds connection. We're from Yorkshire, we've all got many Leeds fans. What reactions have you boys had from sort of your Leeds fan mates? Because mine has been, let's just say, expected. Yeah,
do you know what
the word for it?
Do you know what they've said? Yeah, delusion, absolutely. But do you know what they all said to me? Well, we beat you at Goodison. I said, so we beat you at Elland Road. Do you know what I mean?
But what are you going to understand, though, when a small club from the Championship comes up to the Premier League, beating a team as big as Everton. It's their cup
Big achievement.
Final, yeah, it's their cup final. So obviously we've got to let them have their moment.
Aye.
And then that's the highlight of their season when they're back in Championship in 5 years. They'll look back and think, remember that time we won at Goodison?
Yeah, next time we take piss out of a Leeds fan in 2 or 3 seasons' time, they'll say, well, we beat you at Goodison in 2021.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like the whole Beckford scoring against United thing. And I think they have a public holiday in Leeds about that, don't they?
Cantona's success is all down to Leeds and all, innit? And United. But yeah, delusion's definitely the word for it. I mean, some of mine was like, we got beaten by a shit team.
Yeah.
I mean, what we did is we actually realised, hang on a minute, we're in front. Let's sit back. Let's let them run their arses off, and they still can't break us down. But yeah, they're still champions of Europe, though, aren't they?
Oh yeah. To be fair, I thought I thought Ancelotti outcoached the best coach in the world, according to them, because obviously they have one way of playing, and in all seriousness, they are very good at what they do. They work hard, they're super fit, and they keep going forward. But they ain't got it, like we've said before, they ain't got a plan B. So all we did, it's like in my game in boxing. If someone's going to fly at you constantly and just throw and throw and throw, they're going to leave gaps, and you're going to be able to counterpunch. And that's all we did. We counterpunched twice, and we were very solid at the back. We did what we had to do. This whole Everton are boring, they sat back and just defended. Well, we won. That's game management. That's what the Premier League's about. They'll find that out in the next couple of years. Because you've got to.
It's the
second season syndrome, like Sheffield United. That's going to play a part next season. But I've got no idea. I've got no idea how on earth you think he's like the best coach in like Europe or the world. When, from what I can see, every time I've watched a Leeds game, he sits on his backside staring at the floor. How the hell do you coach like? He looks like he's taking a shit.
He must be a fantastic. He must be. Like I say,
Probably
he
is.
must be a fantastic manager because he's got very average players overachieving. So either what happens though, if Koeman gets a sack at Barcelona, or Zidane goes, the people are saying he's that good. He should be at a club like that. So if he goes,
but he's going to turn it down for Leeds.
Because the biggest.
He's going to stay at Leeds. Yeah,
massive club. But yeah, I thought it was a very professional performance against them. I thought we were very solid, and we just didn't. Like I said, they had plenty of chances. We had some chances that could have had a few more. But I thought overall, you can say, they can argue that the best team lost as such. But I thought we just did what we had to do. We were just professional.
Yeah, and I think
I wish we'd have pasted them. I do. I honestly do.
No, because that wouldn't have alluded to them conversations afterwards that we can laugh about now. If we'd have pissed them, they'd have just been crying.
The whole, but we play better football.
But we had more shots on target. Yep, but you didn't score them, did you?
But Bamford's better than Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah. They're all saying Bamford for England, aren't they, or whatever?
So's Jermaine Beckford.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's a Yorkshire thing, isn't it? It's
all good fun. That's what it's. That's what.
So many great things have come out of Leeds, haven't they? I mean, Jimmy Savile. Sorry, I shouldn't mention that really.
M62.
That's not a good thing.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I forgot. It's a thing.
The Lancastrian blood in me will argue that it's a good road because you get to Lancashire eventually, don't you? So all the good sports teams are that side of M62.
Get to Goodison.
That's it.
It's a bit like you go M1 from Sheffield, and it's like, oh shit, I've got to go to near Leeds, and then you like veer off, and it's like, oh, thank God for that. Unless you go to and then you end up in Castleford.
Can I just ask Chris actually? If you want to go to Manchester or Liverpool, do you do the snake or the Woodhead, or do you go the long way?
Oh no, I live literally on edge at Woodhead, so it's always Woodhead for me. Which
nice drive as well, isn't it?
It is, apart from when it's like weather like today, when it's like -5 and snowing down. But yeah, it's a nice drive that way. It's better than going up anywhere near Leeds.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Yep, absolutely. Perfect place to live. Don't have to go there. So what about the following game then, Man United?
Yeah, I think we dug in and we showed a lot of passion. And that change of tactics turned things around. No doubts about that. As soon as Carlo delivered those tactics, the goal came straight after it.
The only thing I can really remember from that game was seeing the shots of Alex Ferguson sat there wrapped up like a mummy.
We're still chewing.
Cold, looking right disappointed.
We're doing this.
Like they just destroyed his entire legacy.
He was looking at his watch, wasn't he?
Yeah. Fergie time. It were Carlo time.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I thought in that game, first half, I thought we didn't do ourselves justice at all. I thought we were appalling. Like the tempo was slow. I thought Cavani has been outstanding when he plays for Man United, and he showed what a world-class centre forward. He shows what United have been missing, really. If he were 5 years younger, I think, I think United would be a real force. But he just hasn't got them legs, has he? But he gets in them positions, and he's fantastic, and I think they were the better team first half.
If the result had been the other way around, I'd have been absolutely gutted come the end of it. They pretty much, they got it in bag, haven't they? And then
win, didn't they? Yeah,
literally last kick at game, and
that's why it felt so much of a victory to us.
Well, yeah, I think we came out of that game very lucky to get a point, because I think on first half, I think. They outplayed us. I think our tempo was too slow. How many runs did Charleston make? And we couldn't get ball to him. I thought, we were slow playing out from the back. They kept, they just kept, the beaters all ended up first half. And then when Calvert-Lewin missed that chance, he might have, whether he was offside or not, it's irrelevant. But when we missed that chance at the end of the first half, I was like, it's just not going to be our night here. And then when we got going, into his stride, we played some good football, and then they got that sucker punch late on, and I thought, well, we don't deserve anything. And then next minute, I'm screaming house down when we score in 95th minute.
Literally last kick at game as well. I mean, like I said, boot on other foot, you'd be absolutely gutted. But as an Everton fan, we were going mental because we never gave up, and that's that mentality that we've seen over the last few games. That I guess they used to call it bounce back ability, didn't they? A few years ago, but we just
call it dogs of war, don't we? And I think, do you know what? I think Duncan's actually influenced some of this. I think it's some of Duncan's influence, the dogs of war influence that he had, that he's rubbing off on some of the players now. I really do think that. I think Carlo does give Dunk a bit of a free rein to get inside their heads,
I mean, he's done wonders with DCL. You can see, the elements of Ferguson's, getting into those positions to be able to get those, those heads on them balls that scored him so many goals. And you can definitely see that in DCL's play now. And I think, he's definitely having an impact. I know a lot of Everton fans said, oh, what does he do? Why is he around?
What does he do? They did say that.
There you go. We give DCL number 9 shirt and Evertonians are up in bloody arms like, oh, he's not good enough, he's not a world beater, etc. But they've stuck with him, they've nurtured him, they've given him time, and look how good he's come. Under Carlo, absolutely. When he's got the right opportunity, the right balls, the creativity going into him from the likes of James and people like that, he's come good. I mean, what's he on now for the season? Is it
14? Is it?
I think it's even more.
14 in the league. Is it 14 in the league?
14. I think it's 17.
17. Yeah.
In all competitions,
the cup, including I think
which is a massive improvement.
He might even be level with Harry Kane, Wow. I'm sure he's not too far.
And he's had them dips as well. I mean, he's had those few games, where he's not managed to score because we've not been creating enough chances.
The thing is, you can't blame him. He got nothing. Some of them games, he got fed nothing. And the thing is, you look at Calvert-Lewin's goals, everything's just in the 6 yard. He's lethal in the 6 yard box. Whereas from a centre forward's point of view, isn't that your job? Gary Lineker made a career out of just staying around 6 yard box.
He's very much like Harry Kane, isn't he? Right place, right time, can manage to create something from pretty much nothing. I mean, that goal last night showed that. I mean, it was literally, it was a bit of a hopeful shot, but it was bloody class as well.
And I think, like say, if Lloris went to catch that, he'd have ended up in back of net with the ball, wouldn't he? He hit it that hard. But I think as well, his physicality. You can tell he's getting that man strength now, and I think he's holding the ball up well. He looks physically strong. He looks a real athlete, and when centre halves are trying to rough him up, he's holding his own, isn't he? And he's winning a lot of headers and bringing other people into the game. And
he's quick, very quick.
Yeah,
just something we've lacked for a long time.
Like I say, you never back him to score worldies from like 20 yards out or anything, or on the he's not one of them strikers. But you put him in 6-yard box, he'll find a way. He's got a good head on him. He finishes well in the 6-yard box, and as a centre forward, if people get the ball to him, he'll do the job. Like I say, if he gets the service, he'll score, and it's up to the wide men and the men in the middle to give him them opportunities. You're only as good as your midfield, aren't you, as a centre forward?
As an attacking force, you are, yeah.
It's like a reinvention of feed the yak and he will score, isn't it? It's feed Dom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Man United, bloody damn good game, good result, really. To be honest, I know it was a draw and we kind of hoped for more, but I think we all said before the game we'd actually take that all day long. A draw at Old Trafford with the form that they're in. Mm-hmm. I can't fault that at all. And then obviously moving on to last night, which we've touched a little bit about. So I'm going to show you the goals in a minute and see what you think about each one of them.
Have we got time for that? There's about 25 goals in there.
I can't remember the last time we've actually had to look at 9 goals in an Everton game, especially when we ended up with 5 of them. Bonkers scoreline, honestly bonkers. I can't remember one like that.
No, I mean, you say to somebody, we scored 4 goals and we still lost. That's crazy in itself, isn't it? I think.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, they must be gutted, and you've got a feel for them. They played equally as well as we did. We just, in the end of the day, we wanted it a little bit more. And we took our chances, probably a bit more than they did. I thought Olsen, considering he conceded 4, actually had a bloody good game last night. He made some cracking stops.
He did, but can I tell you...
Apart from set pieces.
Yes, exactly. In the air, he just doesn't come out for crosses. He stays on his line all the time. He doesn't command the box, does he, with crosses? Other than that, I think he's a decent keeper.
Yeah, you think he would for a big lad. You think he would boss that box because he's huge, isn't he? Mm-hmm. But I think, like I say, I don't think either team will take much. Like I say, defensively, both teams looked really vulnerable last night. Like in the first half, on the break, they could have had about 3 or 4, couldn't they, before we got that equaliser? And then obviously defensively, they were hopeless. Like they tried to play out from the back, and then we got that first one, which was really we got back into the game against a run of play, really, because they were dominating at that point, and then we got a roll on, and then we switched off again. But I thought, some of the blocks Yeremina puts in, what a player he's turned into. Because at first, I'll openly admit I wasn't too sure, when he first came in, how good he was. But this season, he's been outstanding. He's been
solid.
Dom, you wanted some stats on this game, by the way, and I am sort of been nominated as a stat man.
Oh, hit me up.
29 shots on goal from Tottenham. 17 from us. So our conversion rate was much better.
Yeah.
We had 10 on target, they had 12 on target. That's some stat that. And look at the pass stats, right? We had 545 and they had 694. So there were a lot of the ball was getting passed around a lot, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, that's quite. When you see that, it's quite impressive.
Oh, too right. They look deadly when on the break when Son and Kane are playing together. Yeah, they've got some serious quality, haven't they? But I think their midfield lets them down because they didn't. I'm glad we didn't sign that Højbjerg.
Me too, because he was responsible for the first couple of goals, wasn't he?
He's slow, isn't he? He's even slower than Tom Davies, isn't he? Like speed wise, he's really. Whereas I'd take someone like Allen or Decore over him every day.
I think he's actually slower than Virgil van Dijk on crutches.
I think he's actually slower than my mum on crutches.
So let's have a look at that first goal then. So
do it.
Obviously, very, very early in the game, and we concede. Let's have a look at it. Because it's very early in the game to sort of concede a goal like this from set piece again.
Nobody on the line.
You normally have someone on one at post, don't you?
Yeah, not a single player on that line there. Or on, like you're saying, one of the posts.
And Siggy as well.
All bunched up.
I was a bit disappointed by Sigurdsson with this particular set piece because it looked as though literally he was a bit lost. He was a bit behind the pace of it. And if he'd have just put a little bit of extra sort of pressure onto the player leaping for that, it could have completely changed that. It was a little bit like a bit of a Siggy bottle, and I thought we were going to get a little bit of a game from Siggy, a little bit like that, if I'm honest. But it turned out.
No, it turned it
to be a lot
around,
better.
didn't it?
He did.
Play to him.
But yeah, a little bit of a defensive mishap, that one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Put it down to learning, I think, early in the game and stuff. So what about the goal from DCL then for 1-1 when I was screaming like a chuffing madman?
Yeah, so we won it back there, and then nice little dink in there. And they were fortunate to get the deflection off the keeper, but a nice little dink in there. I loved that.
Good goal, really.
Well, I like that. That was perfect.
I feel sorry for them Tottenham players having to watch that out in video footage, how playing out from the back. That'll go down well, won't it, when they're doing their video review?
Yeah.
This, I think that's the worry that I have, when we play out from the back like we do, with a couple of, sort of centre-backs right on the edge of the 6-yard box and we're playing it around, it can go wrong. And if it goes wrong, it's not great.
Well, like you said, like John Stones had a few last year, didn't he, when he were really out of form. And like this season, it looks like, it looks like a prime Sergio Ramos, doesn't he? And then he's unbelievable this year. And then last year, everything he touched he was giving ball away. So it just shows, doesn't it, like how bad it can go. Like you said.
You're talking about players that went into decline and things like that. Look at Jack Rodwell turning out for Sheffield United now.
Has he managed to get a game?
I don't think so. I don't think he has, but I laughed to myself when I saw that.
I think he's still way behind like Jaggy Elka and stuff like that, and he's like old now.
Wow.
Still younger than me.
Is it? Are they playing him as a centre half then, not a central defensive midfield?
Who knows?
Because he was primed when he played for us and he came through the youth. He was being primed for being the next centre half for us, wasn't he? But he never actually played as centre back, did he, at all for us?
It's one of them things, isn't it? He's followed a lot of trends. You look at Jack Rodwell, obviously Julian Lescott, went the same way. And what's happened to him? He were commentating on game last night. That's how far he got from there.
The grass isn't always greener, is it?
It's not, no. And I think that's one of the key things that a lot of people that have left have thought. They said, look at Pienaar, went to Spurs, ended up coming back. Even Big Dunk went to Newcastle, came back.
I don't reckon that was Dunk's fault, though. I think it was.
No, I don't think it was.
No, it was done out of his control.
Yeah, he'd never have left, I don't think.
No.
But yeah, that's the thing with us. You look at how some teams are. You look at how for Villa, how they've been able to keep hold of Grealish and whatnot. Whereas most of the time, if we've ever had a top quality lad come through, we haven't really been able to keep hold of him, have we? They've always thought, like I say, grass is greener, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have the financial clout to be able to compete with that, and certainly, from sort of like 90s up until recently, we've not had anything that can actually, say, other than we're a big club with some history. What have we got that's going to keep them?
Not forgetting, Tris, that it were a time when somebody said, no, you can't have Dion Dublin for 1 million. Go figure.
That was a good decision.
Just think how
in retrospect it was.
Just think how many of them properties would have been all done up as well outside the ground. They've all been under the hammer, wouldn't they?
Let's have a look at that 2-1 then. So Richie's goal to make it 2-1, literally like 2 in 2 minutes, which is bonkers.
Yeah, a bit scrappy there. Oh, look at that. Wow, what a flick by DCL there.
That's a finish,
that's an assist and a finish.
Yeah.
Amazing. Still no smiling.
Yeah. You can tell they've worked on that, though, because how DCL knew exactly where they were going to be. They
Yeah.
look like they've never played together in the United game for the first 25 minutes, probably first half. And then in this game, like I said, they've looked like they knew each other inside out. So it just shows, doesn't it, what, like I say, how he can change so quickly.
Yeah, it's a little bit like they were in the first 4 games of the season, isn't it? They just seemed to know instinctively where everybody was.
Yeah, good communication and good telepathy.
And then was the penalty next as well?
Penalty was next, yeah. Let's have a
In
look
7
at that
minutes.
one.
Third goal in 7 minutes.
Literally a complete turnaround in fortunes from 1-0 down to 3-1 up.
Did you think there was a lot in the penalty?
No, but I think...
Watch this again, watch. There wasn't a great deal in it. It doesn't even look like somebody touched him.
No, there's...
I'm not complaining, like.
No, but like I say, nowadays, you've seen that many soft penalties. What I think is a soft penalty just gets given now. So it's, it's hard, isn't it? Because for me, I wouldn't ever look at that and think, yeah, that's a penalty. But I suppose in the game nowadays, they get given, don't they? So I'll take it. Like, I'm not going to complain. I'll take it all day.
It were a good penalty as well. He actually took it well.
Calm and composed, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have that much experience in penalties, do we? I mean, it's not like Liverpool where, we throw ourselves on floor every 2 minutes, unless your name's Richarlison.
And we don't have Lookman. We don't have Lookman taking our penalties, thank God.
Oh, thank God.
To Panenka it across.
You've got to Panenka it actually over the penalty spot before you get anywhere near the goal, mate.
And people wondered why we sold him.
Hey, one of our players did score a Panenka penalty, didn't they? Who was it? Was it Stones? In a penalty shootout, I think.
Really?
He did Panenka it, yeah. I'll tell you what, for the next episode, I'll look it up and I'll bring the video footage in.
Yeah, that'd be class, yeah.
It was awesome. It was really good.
I think I really want to see that, along with Johnny Heitinger's penalty against Chelsea. What, against Chelsea in the semi-final at FA Cup? Not Chelsea,
Man United.
was it? Man United. Where he barged into him, completely put him off.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 2009 semi-final.
Yeah, because it was Chelsea in final, weren't it?
Yeah. Who can forget Louis Saha's FA Cup record goal? Eh?
King Louis.
And I thought at that point then, just park the bus, we'll be all right.
See, every time you say park the bus, it just goes wrong.
I know. I need to stop saying that, don't I?
The problem is, from Liverpool, they nick wheels off it. There's no point parking it. It ends up on bricks.
They've even got the wheelie bins on bricks over there, haven't they?
I thought you were. No, they just throw the bricks at buses, don't they? In Liverpool, like that's Man City.
Only if it's Man City fans in it, or Man City players. Well, it's not as bad as going to Leeds, though, is it? You literally tie your dog up outside a post office or a shop or something. You come out and your dog's on bricks.
To be fair, there's probably, like I say, there's more bricks get thrown outside the ground than there's holding that stadium together. It's worse than ours, isn't it?
It's an old-fashioned ground, but there are plans for them to, the East stand up at the big cantilever stand that they've got.
Yeah,
that apparently that's the largest in the world. Of that type, and apparently they're going to mirror the other side. The West Stand is going to have the same treatment, and I think the ground will look half decent when that's done.
Yeah,
it's always been a shithole since we gave it up.
Oh, you're on about Anfield, aren't you?
Yeah,
I'm on about Elland Road. Sorry.
Oh dear. Let's have a look at this one then. So, pulling it back to 3-2. Signs of oh shit.
Yeah, just before half time as well. Just before half time.
Not good timing.
Yeah, just the silence says it all.
Yeah, just poor.
It was.
You could sense that little switch off were coming as well. I think we have been partial to that, haven't we, all season? That early on we got away with it at the start of the season because we weren't playing teams the calibre of, Tottenham, like against West Brom, we switched off, didn't we? And they got a couple of good goals. And then, Brighton, I think they took the lead, didn't they? Or they got a couple, they got a good goal by just switching off again, and we got away with it. And then obviously we play the better sides. You can't make mistakes like that because they get one straight after half time. They're on the front foot again, aren't they?
Yeah, completely changes the game direction, and who's in power and who's in control of that game at that point.
Especially when they've got Kane sat on the bench as well. You're thinking, oh, great.
Yeah. And then obviously we know just after half time, went downhill from there. A bit of a set piece blunder again.
Olsen for that one. Olsen should have had that all day long. Look at him, he just held back, he stopped.
Yeah, at least he
should have just screamed at the top of his voice, mine, and gone for that and punched it.
Yeah, at least he didn't slip this time.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
I just think a lot of players were really, from set pieces last night, like normally we look really sure of whose job's what. Like, I think that's been one of our strong points this year. Is being just a big side at the back and getting rid, clearing the ball well. But last night, for some reason, it seemed really tentative, didn't it? From set pieces, it seemed really.
I tell you what it is though, Dom. Alan Kelly could do with getting in his ear because Alan Kelly is the goalkeeper coach. You remember him in his days, Alan Kelly. People were shit scared of him. He was a good keeper at commanding his box, and he needs to get into both Pickford and Olsen to put some of that into him.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that as well. It's a little bit like our keepers are a little bit timid.
Yeah, totally.
You'd not have got that from Nev.
No, he'd have cleaned three of them out, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would have.
Maybe that's what were happening when Pickford murdered Van Dijk. Maybe you were like, trying to
got
be
a guilty conscience.
Need to be better. Must take him out.
Yeah, but I'm saying he must have had a guilty conscience since and thought, oh, I'm sick of all these death threats I'm getting off Liverpool fans. I better not do that again.
It's all right. You don't have to worry. They're all from chuffing Norway. It takes them a flight to get over here.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, they've got it, like you say, with the quarantining as well. You can, we know where they are. They'll be in hotels.
Yeah, hotels, probably Premier Inn or
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you in 14 days' time.
Let's go over this one then. So, claiming back the lead, claiming back the honours. Can't believe that this was like goal number 7 of a game.
Yeah. There we go. Good take from Davis. Beauty. Beautiful ball that through as well.
Yeah.
Just a little poke through to him and perfectly weighted. And he does what he does best there. Yeah, he does what he does best, and this is him staking his claim to be a centre forward. Really good.
Yeah, he's definitely got the ability.
Perfect.
Yeah,
he has.
Good finish. And then, of course, taking it through to extra time, we then have good old Harry Kane popping up.
This is top class, this.
It is a class goal.
But what happened with Olsen again? He got knocked at floor by one of his own, I think. Look, where was he? Where was Olsen?
I think the thing is...
Staying back on his line.
It's tough, that one, because I think they were throwing quite a lot of men forward. It's one of them, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't there, because if he came out and there's that many around the ball, he could miss it there, or if he's trying to play it safe by staying on his line, which obviously went against him because Kane makes that run at the back, and obviously no one's going to pick him up there because I think Kane's instinct to get there, he's just second to none, and you don't expect someone to be there, do you, as the defender, and he just did everyone all ends up, didn't he?
You say this though, but you say that though, Dom, but if Kane got himself in a position at the far post where he was going to come in and nick it, even a little touch off his hand would have knocked it right over Kane's head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It would have gone right over his head. That's a side of his game that he needs to work seriously on, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You know, the rest of his game I have no problems with. He isn't as good a distribution as Jordan Pickford, but but the rest of his game I actually really like.
His
If you
shot
could actually
stopping
merge them
feels,
both, if you could merge them both together,
A hybrid
you'd have
goalkeeper,
you'd have a cracking keeper. You'd have
would.
a perfect keeper. And I think that's the good thing about Ancelotti. He's actually managing to choose, at the moment, apart from the odd blunder from Pickford, the keeper that is right for each game. That rotation is actually working. And the only reason why Pickford has fell down is because of that blunder that he's got in him.
And they've said in the media as well. Well, the media's been talking about that Olsen wants to stay beyond his loan, which take my hat off to him. He's enjoying life there. He hasn't come here to be a number 2, has he?
No.
He's getting a bit of action.
It's always good to have that competition. You need someone pushing you, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. With Carlo, there's plenty of space on bench for goalkeepers. He always seems to have 2.
but Tris,
I don't get.
Yeah, but Tris, if you look at previous teams that he's managed, he did the same there as well.
Yeah.
He's a big goalkeeper rotator.
That's a
Very
good
well
thing
known
with the
for
team that we've got at the moment. You know, to have 2 keepers that can step up and do what they need to do in the right type of game. I mean, if you're playing, the game where you need that good distribution, you've got Pickford there to do that, and obviously we've got a good shot stopper in Olsen as well. It's good that we've got 2 quality goalkeepers. I can't remember the last time we actually had that.
And if we're losing 5-0 at half time, he can take his pick who he wants to put on then,
We'll just eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Or do a Duncan Ferguson and put him on and then take him off again.
Yeah.
Why not?
And not even look at him while they're walking off.
I were embarrassed for him there, I really was.
Do you know what? I personally think it was the right decision.
Oh,
I know he got a lot of stick.
But I was embarrassed.
I think that's only happened once in Everton history. I can't remember the guy that it happened to, but the only thing I can remember him getting subbed off and he was wearing that salmon and blue, salmon and navy kit, that striped one. Can't remember who it were that got subbed on.
Preki, wasn't it?
I don't think it were.
A little Polish bloke, Preki. That were Robert, wasn't it? Robert Vashika.
Bloody hell, that's a blast front pass.
Some names there, eh?
Oh, just a bit. So, 83 minutes, 4-4, heading into extra time. I don't know about you boys, but I honestly thought, shit, this is not going to go our way now. We've thrown it away. Momentum's with Spurs. We go into extra time, and then this little diamond of a Brazilian pops up and does this.
It's this assist that I actually love. This is amazing. Look at that. That was class.
And Bernard's got that in him. He just needs to show a little bit more of it. And if, sometimes he's like a little wizard, isn't he? He's a little Brazilian wizard. Other times he just gets, if it's a physical game, he just gets knocked off at ball. But if he's got that space, coming off the bench when he's got fresh legs and stuff like that, it's brilliant. Look at that.
Look at that by Gylfi, that Cruyff turn.
It was some finish and some, like I say, some ball over the top. But I thought, to be fair, up till then, Bernard were a bit of a passenger. I think when a lot of the time he plays the game, just passes.
Look at this! Look at this! Look at this!
This is brilliant.
He's just drinking his Bovril. Look, Dunk thought twice about hugging him. Then, love it. I kept that piece in just for you there.
I just wish Bernard had, do that a little bit more often. He's got that gift with the feet that he can take people on, providing he manages to stay far enough away so that they can't push him off with one finger. It's like watching a 12-year-old play.
I think he just needs to embrace the fact that he could be a super sub and still an important member of the team, even if he doesn't start games. Wow, wouldn't it be good if he's just an ace in the pack, an extra bullet?
Yeah, he's got great pace as well.
He has.
Yeah, if he can use that, to split those defences apart, or even do what he did there and put cracking finishes in, he's won a game there in extra time.
And he's skillful. When him and Richarlison play tiki-taka together, it's amazing.
But the composure to keep on side there, make that run and finish were top class. Like that was a serious finish. That
the pass was that good that he didn't even have to take a touch.
Yeah.
No.
And that's where Gylfi's kind of popped up a little bit in recent games. I wasn't biggest fan, I've got to be honest. Up until more recently, I thought he was a bit of a passenger. He was not pulling his weight he bottles challenges and stuff like that. Last few games, while he's still made a few mistakes, he seems to have made up for that. He seems to have, been a little bit more committed. I don't know what you boys think, but I think he's starting to show little signs of the Gylfi that we signed.
I think I always felt sorry for him from the start, because when he were never worth 50 million or whatever we ended up paying for him. So
puts pressure on the player. It's not fair.
Of course it does. Yeah, you were always going to compare him to other 50 million players, and he was just like, he's
not in that league. He wasn't in that league at all.
And then played out of position so much.
Yeah, and for me, I don't know, I was quite cynical with it, because I thought, well, he were never good enough for Tottenham, and then we're paying all this money for a player that weren't good enough to get in the team. A bit like Iwobi. We're paying a lot of money for these players that aren't good enough to get in the teams we're trying to overtake. And they've both this season, they've both played really well. So, but yeah, I always feel, I don't know, a bit annoyed when we pay a lot of money for players who aren't good enough for other sides in the apparent Big Six, if that makes sense.
It goes to show, though, being a director for football's not an easy job at all, is it?
No.
I mean, look at the players that Koeman brought in that on paper were really good. Sandro Ramirez, I don't know about, but Klaassen, definitely, on paper, he was a great player.
Yeah. Well, even Sandro Ramirez in them early friendlies, he had some right performances, but when it came to Premier League, he just could not make that step up, same as Klaassen. And they just became, wasted.
You talk about that friendly, Tris, that group of friendlies in that pre-season. Do you remember the one? It's that pre-season that we're talking about where we beat a team 26-0 or something.
Yeah.
Do you remember it? 26-0 or something, or 24-0 we beat them.
It was when Rooney had just come back as well.
Yeah, we're in all European qualifiers as well then, wasn't it? I think a season started end of July or something crazy, didn't it, with European qualifiers.
And I also remember that season I always remember that season for Rooney's hat-trick and that goal from the halfway line.
Against West Ham, class.
Yeah. And I think Gylfi scored one the season before, didn't he, from the halfway line as well?
Yeah. It still won't beat Tim Howard's goal kick that ended up against Bolton.
Yeah, but he didn't celebrate. He was embarrassed about it, didn't he? He said he didn't celebrate about it.
He felt as part of goalkeepers union. He felt bad for other goalkeepers.
Yeah.
Good keeper though, Tim Howard. I liked him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he was even better when he had his beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still couldn't work out how he had less hair on his head than sort of like on his face.
Like somebody had turned it upside down, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, honestly, class act. He's now a club ambassador as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Sort of US and stuff. So he's still very much part of the club, which is great. And I love the way that our club do that as well.
Yeah. Especially with Pienaar as well, it's great to see.
Yeah,
I mean, who can forget Baines and Pienaar when they had that little telepathic thing, that was amazing, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, great partnership down that left-hand side.
And then we had Andy van der Meerde.
Oh. Yep.
Shandy Van.
Less said about that, the better, I think.
Yeah, definitely. But we're talking about players being good on paper. Andy van der Meerde, a classic example. Where did we get him from? Inter Milan or somewhere?
Yeah, Oumanias, he was the same on paper. I mean, he was great on FIFA.
Yeah.
Even that Moise Kean bandage thing.
Moise Kean was good on FIFA as well before we bought him.
Yeah, the little bastard always 8 points when he went to Everton, didn't it?
It's gone back up again now.
Yeah, now he's playing Champions League. He's gone back up, hasn't he?
So, if you want my honest opinion on that, we're best off getting rid of him in summer.
Yeah,
honestly, that ship sailed now, hasn't it?
Yeah, he never wanted to play. I think he was a bit out of his comfort zone. Yeah. Couldn't get up to the speed of the Premier League quick enough. Same as so many players that come from Europe. It's a completely different ball game. It's different gravy. They just couldn't get up to speed. Get rid of him. Let him play in a pub league with Neymar and the rest of it.
Do you know the funniest thing though, Tris? Right? I joined the army at 16. And I went down on my own and spent loads of time away from my parents and stuff like that. He turns up at Everton age 17 with his mum at the press conference. And Everton, as a PR thing, got his mum a shirt that said Mama Keen or something on the back of it. What the hell?
We'll look after your little lad. Don't worry.
Yeah,
It's like, the thing is, though, it's like annoyed me as well. First lockdown when he got in trouble for having that massive
party, didn't he?
And it's just it brings it. You don't want players like that who are going to bring
the club into disrepute. Yeah,
yeah. You
and
don't need it. Do you?
Literally within a month as well, he got 2 fines for being late for training and late for match day and stuff, and he got them at Juve as well. And it's just the mentality, the attitude just wasn't right. It's a little bit like Royston Drenthe.
What a
Same kind of thing.
waste of talent.
Oh, yeah.
and it was good, but like Tris says, his attitude just wasn't right, was it?
No, unfortunately, you come across these where like I said, their attitude just stinks, and you see it in my sport as well, where there's lads out there with so much ability, and you just know they're never going to do anything because they haven't got it upstairs, and you can't really, no matter how much you work on someone, sometimes you're fighting a losing battle because, if they're not willing to go that extra mile themselves, then there's not much as a coach. You can't force someone to do it. You can only tell them so much, can't you? You can only coach them so much. So at the end of the day, it's up to the player to do
definitely.
it.
And I think you can see that with the likes of like Rooney and Beckham. Brilliant footballing brains, but not much else up top. Don't mean that in any way disrespectful to him, because footballing wise, they're unbelievable.
Giggs was same as well. Giggs was same.
They just had that X factor when it came to football, and they've gone on and done absolutely amazing things with what they've done. And credit
like
to
his
him,
brother, like his brother's wife.
They've gone on and done amazing things, or amazing people.
I didn't actually think she was that nice, to be honest, but I would have called her amazing.
No.
It must be a change to his normal sheep, being Welsh and that.
It's about as Welsh as Irish stew, though, isn't it? To be fair. Like, how many times did
I love that.
How many times did you actually turn up and play for Wales? About 10 times or something. You're always Alex Ferguson always made sure he never had to play, didn't he?
Do you know something? Right, Wales must be the biggest underachievers on paper ever. Can you remember a time when we had Southall in goal, Russian Sparky Hughes up front? That era of Wales should have dominated football technically, shouldn't they? Because they had some of the best footballers in the world there.
Yeah, but then when you come to sort of like slightly more modern times when they actually had a chance to do anything, and their star player was Ashley fucking Williams.
Well, there's Ashley Williams, and it was the other guy. It was the guy that was he was playing on a game per game contract, and he scored a really important goal. What did they call him? Oh shit!
Oh, striker.
Yeah. God, I've had a mental block now. Oh,
he was West Brom at the time, wasn't he? I'm sure.
Yes.
West Brom,
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're both thinking of the same player.
Not Canoe, Robson Canoe, right?
Yes, yes.
Is he Robson Canoe? Yeah.
Robson Canoe, that's it.
Yeah.
He was playing on a game per game, pay as you play basis when he scored that really important goal for Wales.
Yeah, he was technically unattached when he scored that goal
Yeah.
at Euros, wasn't he?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Unemployed footballer scores to put him into next
Could
round.
make it up, could you?
No, that's some going that.
Oh dear, good old Wales. Ashley Williams, he's retired now, hasn't he, as well?
Yeah, he has.
Yeah. To be fair,
Best thing for him.
Yeah, he has had. If you look at what he's achieved, he's had a good career, hasn't he? He's had a good career.
Stolen lots of money off lots of clubs.
I think he came to us a little bit too late off the back of a good performance for his nation. Came to us a bit too late. Never really made it. Went to Stoke, exactly the same, and he's ended up twilight of his career, and sadly hung up his boots. But yeah, I guess that's the way it goes, isn't it? We've made plenty of signings that weren't quite right for us over recent years, so that's just another one to add to the list.
Yeah, just like a good player, but like I say, just too late. We've signed right player, wrong time in their career, isn't it? Unfortunately,
He's also having to try and live up to like Sylvan Distin and stuff like that, who we all bloody loved.
But I remember as well, Tris. You'll probably remember this as well, Dom. David Moyes made this signing from, I think it was Udinese or somebody like that. Centre half, brilliant player he is, awesome. Couldn't even head the ball. Per Coldrup.
Per Colger, God.
I remember him.
Bloody
Couldn't even
hell.
head the ball. He lasted one game and then he shipped him back out. A centre half that can't head.
Nice.
Another quality
mad.
Moyes siding.
It's interesting. I remember years ago, and I think we were an FA Cup game, and I went with my dad to Huddersfield Town away in the cup, and this lad came on, centre half, and he went to do just a Cruyff turn and fell over the ball, and I'm like, who the hell was this? And they said, well, Marco Maserati, and he didn't do bad, did he?
Oh, he went on to better things, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a right career, didn't he? But that night, I'm like, who do they exist? And then, to be fair, he did really well. He started playing really well, didn't he? He had some great games for us, and then he went off and had a fantastic career, won a World Cup. And
I liked him. And he brought Decor in, I think, at the same time. And I liked Olivier Decor as well.
What a player
He was brilliant.
He was just a shame at that time. We're a poor side, weren't we? So we couldn't keep him then.
Yeah.
We couldn't nurture him either, could we? You know, like if you look at some of those players coming in now, under the likes of Carlo and stuff like that, who can see the raw potential of those players, he can nurture him. Give him a season, give him the right sort of tuition and right advice, etc., and turn it around for him. Where back then we just couldn't. We just couldn't compete with that back then.
And the ones surrounded by quality in them days either. Like you look at the players. The players are coming in now, and they've got Rodriguez pinging through balls and that. And it's like I say, you're playing now. You're playing with a settled squad of very good players. That's not fighting relegation. So, it's a shame that you say we had some sprinkles of real quality that late '90s, but we also had a lot of trash, didn't we?
Just a bit.
We did.
So moving forward then, we're looking at Sunday. We got 7 p.m. kickoff against Fulham. So relegation fodder. Is it a potential banana skin?
Absolutely, considering how tired we will be. That's going to take it out of his legs, isn't it? How much of a shift we put in last night.
Yeah.
Are we playing at the cottage?
No, it's at our place.
Our place, Goodison. It's one of
natural
them.
reaction.
We've played so many games in a short space of time, but we've still got games in hand over other teams and stuff like that. So we've not really had a rest because we've had cup games, like the one midweek, double extra times, back to back with cup games and stuff like that. Injuries as well. We never seem to do too well against the sort of newly promoted sides. And certainly those lower down the table, historically, we've never done well against them. It's always been a bit of a banana skin. What do we think score-wise for Sunday?
Sorry.
Go on, you, Dom. Go on, I'm thinking.
I reckon Fulham will come to play because I think Parker's got him, playing a lot better. And I think they've been unlucky recently. I reckon 2 or 3-1 to us. I think it won't be an easy game because, like I said, they've pushed a lot of sides all the way recently. They've been unlucky. So and they're playing some good stuff. But I'd like to think we can get the job done. And I think 3-1 for me. What about you?
I'm going for 2-1. I think 2-1, and I think they'll push us really, really hard, and I reckon it'll be 1-1 till about 80th minute, and then we'll probably get a winner there. That's what I think. It's going to be close. It's going to be quite a close game.
They've signed well, I think, with Fulham.
Yeah, they have.
Look at the players. Because Parker, I do feel sorry for him because he hasn't... they got promoted, and he had a month to put a team together ready to take on the Premier League, and they really struggled early on. But I think now they're looking a much better side, and I hope it's not too late for him because there's something about Scott Parker I like. I liked him as a player. And I think, the football that Fulham are playing, I think, I'd like him to, to stay up, but it might just be, I think the bottom 3 now look pretty much nailed on, don't they? For me, anyway.
Well, I'm just going to see if I can get it up on my screen now, but I'm just going to say get the last 5 games that Fulham have played. Let's see what they were up to.
They drew with Liverpool. They were unlucky against Chelsea. They lost to Chelsea, didn't they? Where They got a player sent, Robinson, former Everton player, wasn't he? He got sent off.
Anthony Robinson, yeah.
Yeah, and he got sent off quite early, and they pushed Chelsea all the way with 10 men. So they've had a couple of draws. They draw a lot of games, don't they? Did they draw with West Brom as well?
Give me 1 second. Just bringing that up now. They drew with West Ham, didn't they? Hang on a minute. So, they drew 0-0 with West Ham.
Yeah.
And then they lost 2-0 to Leicester City at their own ground. Drew 2-2 with West Brom. And drew 0-0 with Fulham. And lost 3-0 at home to Burnley. So it seems that they have a problem with home form like everybody else, really. Yeah. But yeah, they haven't won a game in the last 5.
No.
I'm
going to go for 3-0 Everton. I'm going bold.
That's the beauty about everybody having differing opinions. That's a bold claim, but you've been nearly right the last couple of times, haven't you? So
I just think on the back of a good result against Leeds, a draw away at Old Trafford, and then a winning cup. I just think confidence is a little bit high at the moment. I think even if DCL isn't available for that game because of his injury that he sustained last night, I think we've got Richie, we've also got King as well, both wanting to make a claim for, scoring goals. Richie's hungry for goals. You can see that. He hates having a poor goal tally at the moment, and I think if he's given the opportunity, I think he's probably likely to take it against a side like Fulham. So I think I'm pretty confident.
Yeah.
Hopefully we should do well, but let's hope it's not another Newcastle.
Yeah, or like I say, our Norwich last season.
Yeah.
We struggle against Norwich, don't we?
Yeah, Sheffield United last
season.
season.
We struggle against them.
Yeah.
How on earth Sheffield United last season beat us 2-0 with only one shot on target? It's bonkers.
The wild away.
That's absolutely
failure of Marco Silva.
Yeah.
Well, I just hope his legs haven't gone after the other night, because the lads put such a shift in. I really hope that Rodriguez can play and, like I say, let the ball do the work, because, like I say, they must have been absolutely exhausted after last night. Going again Sunday after that's a big ask, innit, especially after extra time. So I hope we get a lead early. I just, if we get up nice and early, I think you'll be able to relax a bit more.
Yeah, I think Wayne touched on it earlier, actually, but I actually thought, considering we'd actually done an extra 30 minutes, we still looked pretty fresh come towards the end of that game last night. And I would have expected us to be really, really flagging, but for some reason, we just seemed to be, we seemed to have the legs over Tottenham in the second half of that extra time. We seemed quite fresh, we seemed quite, up for it. And I think that fitness level has probably increased with that confidence that we've seen, or maybe they're just working them really hard in training. And
plus playing
dividends.
2 games a week as well. Like I said, they're just constantly playing, aren't they? So the match fitness should be through the roof.
Yeah, it's going to pull that fitness up a hell of a lot. I mean, we know from sort of, like pre-seasons at rugby and stuff like that, when you're constantly doing it, your fitness does improve. I mean, you'll know, Dom, from your boxing and stuff, and how much, you train to get your fitness up and stuff like that. If they're constantly playing, that match fitness is going to be, high right now. And that's a good thing. We've got a lot of games coming up, and a lot of tough games as well.
Yeah, and I think it's always important when you're on a decent run like we are, you want the games to keep coming. Like you want to keep the momentum going. I think we've got a tough run coming up, and like I say, if we can keep that momentum,
we need fitness levels to be high, don't we?
Yeah,
that rotation's definitely helping as well.
It is
swapping those players over.
Gomez will come in fresh, Rodriguez will come in, so
Gabamin maybe.
How far? Oh, is he still even in Liverpool at the moment? Like,
Who is he? Who is this man?
We've seen him make 3 performances, haven't we?
To be fair, he looked absolute class as well when he first played.
He did.
I like the look of this lad. And then, like I say, 2 years later.
Who's the young guy that we had with the big afro? What do I call him? He looks amazing. Him.
Oh, the really tall one.
When Unsworth were caretaker manager, he looked really good. Him. Beningame.
Yeah. He's just gone out on loan, hasn't he?
Yeah. He looked awesome.
Yeah, it's gone out on loan.
Right. Yeah, he looked amazing, him.
Yeah, he just like I said, there was for whatever reason, he just hadn't kicked on because any midfielder last year could have. I say any midfielder worth the salt would have got a crack last year because we were hopeless, weren't we, in the midfield?
Yeah.
Last year.
And we're still inconsistent there.
Yeah, well, I think we've been
overall.
I think all over we've been really. Like you say, you look at that finishing last night, and then you look at some of the chances we've missed, and defensively how solid we have been to what we were throwing up last night. You just think like consistency is just. I think every team in the whole league, apart from Man City, who've got it together, every team you don't know what's going to get thrown up from one week to the next, do you?
Well,
But even
Man City,
yeah.
I was going to say,
start,
even Man City at the start had a bit of a slow start.
They really did.
And you look at Liverpool last season and look at them this season, and they're like two different teams.
Yeah, that's our fault.
Doing a good job out there.
Of course it is. Always our fault.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer team, though, to be fair.
There you go. Just look at it.
Like I said, I don't like any player getting injured, but when he the week after, and who were it who didn't they literally had on his shirt, didn't he, like praying for Virgil, one of the players who plays for Leon up front.
Yeah. Have you seen the Photoshop versions of that one?
Was it being sarcastic?
Rest in peace, Virgil, my brother.
Yeah. Virgil for Virgil.
I don't know.
It does say something though that they literally believe that their entire season and everything verges on one player.
Yeah.
It says a lot. That word again, delusional.
Yeah, well, yeah, they have.
Is it a thing with teams that begin with L?
It might well be.
I don't mind Leicester fans, obviously, they're all right.
We'll have a Luton Town fan on next week telling us that they'll be in Champions League in 5 minutes.
Luton with a plastic pitch. Every goalkeeper's nightmare.
Oh yeah.
Do you want the lowdown on Fulham, Tris? Do you want the stats lowdown?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
The stats lowdown then. So we've beaten 31 times, drawn 13, lost 20. And we seem to have this little curse that we didn't beat them for years and years and years at Craven Cottage. Do you remember that?
God.
They had a good side at once upon a time.
It were like 40 odd. It were like 40 odd years. Maybe not that many, but it were a long time since we beat them at Craven Cottage. But the good news is, in the last 10 years, we've lost twice to them, and we're beating them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're beating them 10 times, lost twice, drawn twice. So they're good stats then. Last time we beat them was 22nd of November. When we played them at their place and we beat them 3-2, so there you go.
That were we made it quite. They were quite tasty at the end. They had some chances, didn't they? They played all right.
Good.
Anyway, boys, sorry, I've been on an hour and a half. My phone's about to die, so I'm going to leave you now before I just.
You can tell he's You can tell he's using an iPhone.
Yeah, ladies and gents, if you want to make a donation to Dom to get him an Android phone,
or some running trainers or both. Anyway, just send them this way. So.
Don't be greedy.
Sponsorships welcome.
Always. So no, I think we have actually covered off everything anyway. So I think looking forward to the weekend's game and episode 3 next week. Let's dissect
Bring it on.
Find out what happens, and Statman will be in, and Dom will be a step closer to fighting again, and I'll be a step closer to getting on stage again, and the rest of it. Let's hope so.
And as well, in the next couple of episodes, we'll be looking at bringing a guest on, maybe.
Absolutely, we're working on a few corkers for you, so hopefully it should be good fun. But thanks for everybody to tune in.
Quality. Thanks,
As
boys.
always, good to catch up, boys, and we'll see you a little bit later.
See you soon.
See you,
See you
bye.
soon.
Thank you.